Project Dreadnest, File 073, The Gardener. Clearance level, Nightshade, Omega. Classified file. Transcript, do not duplicate access. Restricted, begin audio log. This is Agent Malcolm Rourke, Department of Paranormal Threat Analysis, recording under Directive Dreadnest. Case file 073 was declassified for internal review following the loss of 3 containment teams and the disappearance of an entire township. This is not folklore. This is not a theory. What follows is fact, corroborated by sensor data, biometric records, and incident black box footage. I am recording this so that what we've seen, what we've lost, is not erased when this happens again. The subject is referred to as the gardener, though no formal identity has ever been verified. No fingerprints, no DNA, no voice recognition. What we do have is a collection of reports that, when combined, map out the presence of an entity not bound by physical law or time. The first red flag occurred on May 3rd, 1996, in a rural farming region outside Warren Ridge, Iowa. A young girl named Annie Beckworth vanished while riding her bike along a trail that cut through an overgrown property, land that had been abandoned for decades. The girl's bike was found leaning perfectly upright, no damage, no sign of struggle. Her backpack sat beside it, zipped, untouched. Search dogs refused to go near the tree line. One of them collapsed, bleeding from the nose within minutes. The local sheriff's department found no clues, no footprints, not even Annie's. 2 weeks later, her mother received a small package in the mail. No stamp, no address, just her name written in dirt across the top of the box. Inside was a single sprig of lavender, still wet with dew, and a small glass jar containing a human tooth. DNA confirmed it belonged to Annie. That was the first documented incident. More followed. Always the same pattern. A child disappears. The search turns up nothing, and a plant not native to the region is left behind in pristine condition. Lavender in Iowa, jasmine in Alaska, foxglove in New Mexico. By 2002, we had 9 similar cases. Our analysts created a task force. File 073 was initiated and flagged with the classification Botanical Apparitional Threat. BAT, they called it. Like it was a joke. Like it was something they could contain. But then came the footage. In 2004, a man named Walter Devane, a survivalist, set up a motion-triggered wildlife cam outside his cabin near the Smoky Mountains. He'd been hearing strange sounds at night, humming, digging. He thought it was poachers or feral hogs. At 2:13 a.m. on August 14th, the camera activated. What it captured remains classified to all but Division 7. The figure stands approximately 7 feet tall, humanoid in shape, but covered entirely in tangled vines, bark, and moss. Its arms are impossibly long, dragging along the soil, and its face, if you can call it that, appears wooden, hollowed out like a rotten tree. No eyes, no mouth, just a gaping hole that seemed to vibrate slightly, as if something inside was trying to come out. It stood motionless for 6 minutes, then slowly knelt in front of the camera and began digging with its bare hands. The soil didn't resist. It pulled away like water. The figure placed something small and wrapped in cloth into the hole, then buried it again. The next morning, Walter found a new flower growing exactly where it dug. The flower had human fingernails for petals. Division 7 arrived within 12 hours. Walter was removed, relocated, memory altered. The land was purchased under the shell company Cerberus Holdings, and the area was sealed. Field Team Bravo 3 was assigned to investigate the soil composition. What they found changed everything. Every flower growing in that area, over 3,000 in total, contained trace human DNA. Teeth, bones, hair follicles. The land was a graveyard disguised as a garden, and it was growing. We found similar pockets all over the country, hidden in national parks, forgotten townships, behind churches, near orphanages. The gardener never moved in straight lines. It moved with memory, with silence, with grief. In 2010, our psychographic analysts began decoding the pattern. Disappearances spiked in areas where people had recently lost a loved one, especially a child. Places heavy with mourning. It didn't just feed on death. It was called to it. Field agents began to experience strange phenomena near these sites. Dreams filled with vines, the scent of roses where there were none. One agent, Agent Lorna Cash, went missing during a recon op in Mendocino County. Her body was never found, but her voice was captured on the final audio transmission. She whispered the phrase, "I can feel the roots in my lungs." That same day, a new sapling burst through the concrete at HQ's front gate. The leaves were stained red. Lorna's badge was wrapped around the trunk. After that, we classified the gardener as an Omega-level threat entity, not to be engaged, not to be approached, observation only. But the damage was done. The towns began vanishing. First, small ones, no one noticed. But then, Fairview, Utah, entire population gone overnight. Houses left fully intact. Meals still warm on dinner tables. The only sign was a sudden overgrowth of green. Thick vines overtaking roads, flowers blooming through walls, and a massive ring of trees that hadn't been there the day before. At the center, a garden of unknown plants, and in the center of that, a chair made of bones and bark. Surveillance drones failed. Footage came back corrupted, overwritten by static, filled with what sounded like soft humming. When reversed, the audio resembled a lullaby, one known only in an obscure Dutch nursery rhyme dating back to the 1600s. The rhyme tells of a forest man who plants the forgotten so they'll never feel alone. Here's the part we didn't tell the public. In every town that disappeared, no one screamed. There were no signs of resistance, no calls, no blood. Every person was simply missing, as if something invited them, as if something wrapped its roots around their grief and promised to make it all stop. We believe the gardener is not a physical being, but a manifestation of unresolved loss. An ecosystem of collective sorrow, taking shape, finding voice, and feeding itself through the buried pain of others. We now know it does not just kill, it cultivates. The missing are not dead, they're part of the garden, locked in permanent biological stasis, converted into organic material, alive, rooted, dreaming. We've tried fire, we've tried salt, we've tried silence, but every time we destroy one garden, another blooms elsewhere. We can't stop it. We can only watch, and we can warn you. If you're walking alone and you smell flowers where there shouldn't be any, if you wake with dirt under your fingernails and don't remember why, if you hear humming in the trees, gentle and low, like someone rocking a cradle, leave, because if the gardener has taken interest in you, then something you lost has already taken root. End of file.